Hello, everyone. Welcome to a brand new episode of Extraordinary Talks. For today's video, I have a very special guest because I will be talking to Ellyssa May Cedilla, which is one of the candidates of Miss Philippines Earth of this year. She's representing the province of San Juan, and I'm really excited for you guys to hear the conversation that we had about so many topics, going from her advocacy about medical waste during the time of a pandemic, also about scoliosis, about her journey in pageantry, some of the biggest challenges of the competition when it comes to the mental aspects, to the preparation, but also financially. So as usual, the only thing that I'm going to ask from you is that if you enjoy our conversation, don't forget to show some love and support to the candidate, but also support my video by leaving a like, a comment, subscribing to the channel, and sharing it with other people, other friends, vloggers, you name it. Any type of support is good. So I won't keep you waiting for too long. Thank you for being here, and I will introduce you to Ellyssa right after the intro.
Be strong.
All right, everyone, welcome once again to Extraordinary Talks. Today, I have my beautiful guest, Ellyssa May Cedilla. She is representing the city of San Juan, and she is one of the candidates of Miss Philippines Earth. How are you doing, my dear?
Okay, hi Luis. I'm actually doing really great this morning.
All right. So I wanted to talk to you about a little bit about your journey, the pageant, and some about your advocacy as well. But before we get into that, I would like for you to maybe introduce yourself to the audience with a few words, just for them to have a global idea of who you are.
Okay, so hi everyone. I am Ellyssa May Cedilla. You're Miss Philippines Earth in one city. And I'm actually 24 years old already, but this is my very first national pageant. So I hope you guys still support me in my journey, even though it's my first. I am just, enjoying this journey and trying my best to win a crown. But with or without even winning a crown, I'm just really happy to be here. And so my advocacy is about the pandemic in the ocean floor. I actually chose this advocacy because I believe that this is very timely and relevant with our current fight against COVID-19. It's not just humans who are struggling from this pandemic, but the marine species too, because of the improper disposal of used tissues, face masks, or any personal protective equipment in general is actually damaging the seabed already and, killing the marine life even more. And so I would like to advocate for that because I love the oceans. Even though I live in a city and don't have much bodies of waters around me, my love for the ocean pushed me into advocating for the waters or the seas. And so, yeah, that's my advocacy. Thank you.
Extremely important. And I'm really happy that you mentioned that, because we will have the time to talk about it a little bit more in details during the interview. But I wanted to go back to something that you mentioned, this being your first national pageant. How are you managing so far? Do you think it's challenging?
Yes, it is very challenging, Luis, because I don't have a handler or a manager with me, or I am just under a beauty camp. It's actually the Kagandahang Flores beauty camp. But anyway, it's I feel like I'm kind of independent in a way because I am the one who's scheduling the photo shoots or the video shoots with the glam team. So like that's the hairstylist, the fashion stylist, the makeup artist, and also the photographers, videographers, and looking for the locations for me to shoot. And yes, I'm actually talking to the San Juan City Hall or our LG or local government unit as well. And I'm the one who's like directly speaking to them with regards to the permits and taking videos in such areas like the Pinaglabanan Shrine in our area, because that's really a very strict place in here. Not really so strict, but it's the pandemic, so they're kind of strict with the protocols right now. So I just really find it kind of challenging since it's not a physical pageant wherein you just have to like go into this venue and all glammed up. But right now I'm just looking for the location and fixing everything for everyone, especially the schedule. So we've got like a tight schedule really, and I'm kind of overwhelmed, but at the same time I'm very excited because it's like honing my skills and the scheduling stuff and organizing the time of everyone. But I'm just enjoying right now.
Very nice. I mean, it definitely looks like it's a lot of multitasking, but I'm pretty sure that after this experience, you'll be able to compete in any pageant and you will be excellent at it.
Yeah, I believe so too. I'm just really happy to be, trained by the Miss Philippines Earth. But not really. I'm really vying for a crown. I mean, that's the goal. But if ever I don't make it here, I believe that I could still join other pageants soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. And you speak so well. So I definitely see you.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
So I wanted to ask you about
Yeah.
something that I noticed as I was doing a little research preparing for the interview. I noticed that the Miss Philippines Earth website really puts a lot of emphasis on the candidates' growing up process. So like their childhood. What do you think this is?
Okay, I think that they've been focusing on our growing up years because they want to see how we became this kind of woman that we are today, and just wanted to learn more about us more than our advocacies. I mean, advocacy is always there for the pageants, and the candidates will always have an advocacy when joining pageants. And I think they would like to go beyond or like deeper into knowing the girls. So
Yeah,
I think that is really great because we grew up in different experiences in different households, and I think it's very important for us to understand the person better if we know their childhood years.
absolutely. And for the people out there who maybe don't know you or who want to get to know you better, how would you
Yes.
describe your childhood in only 3 words?
And only 3 words. I think it would be um 3 words. That's kind of hard because yeah, I'm actually a very bubbly person. Okay, let's say bubbly.
Huh?
And I could say that very good example. Could that word be like the second one? Good
Role model,
example.
yeah, why not?
Because
Yeah.
yes, role model, yeah. Because I'm actually the eldest daughter in our family. So yeah, that's why.
Ah,
And the third one is challenging because I actually have a lot of insecurities. But I can say that I'm an insecure person, but
mhm.
it's kind of challenging for me because I actually have scoliosis. Could I actually mention this one? I might cry a little bit. Just kidding. But
Oh,
anyway,
I have
are you
tissues because I
familiar?
cry myself a lot, so don't.
Are you familiar with scoliosis?
Yeah, my dad actually suffers from it, so I'm very familiar with it.
Okay, so yeah. Anyway, to the people who don't know what scoliosis is actually an abnormal curvature of the spine. And
Mhm.
so I have discovered this one when I was 11 years old. Since you were asking about my childhood,
Yeah,
we've discovered this one when I grew taller. Because
yeah.
actually, my biological father is like 6'2", and my mom has the hereditary, or I inherited from my mom. She
Mhm.
has scoliosis too, and yeah, I'm my height was actually 5'6" or 5'7" already when I was 11 years old. So I was kind of
Mm.
tall as an 11-year-old girl. And I was dreaming of becoming a flight attendant or a model or a beauty queen, of course.
Mhm.
And then I thought before that this was kind of like, it shattered my dreams because, having a crooked spine or whatnot, it was just kind of challenging for me, really.
Of
And it's
course.
kind of sad, but I'm really happy that I was able to overcome. But I can say that I have totally overcome it already. I'm just, still on the process of accepting who I am since I'm 24 right now. And I'm think I'm doing great so far. And
Absolutely.
I'm
And it's
just really
definitely,
happy to be able to join a pageant finally, and finally having the courage to finally join a national beauty pageant from the Philippines. Yeah. Thank
exactly.
you.
And it's definitely challenging, like you were saying. I've seen it firsthand with my dad, and I know it can be, like extremely hard, extremely painful sometimes.
Yes.
But you're definitely doing great because, I mean, one of the dreams that you mentioned was being a beauty queen, and look at
Yes.
you.
Yes. Especially wearing heels, high heels to be exact. That's really kind of, I mean, it's for your dad. I don't think he's wearing heels, right?
No.
But that's for me. Of course, it's really hard. And I'm actually working as a freelance events model here in the Philippines, even before the pandemic. But right now, I have 2 online businesses, just to have another source of income. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
sure. Okay, very inspiring. I like that.
Yes.
So I wanted to mention, so in 2014, you were actually crowned Miss Ecology at your local school. So it seems like your love and your interest for the environment really comes from, from a long time ago. Can you tell us a
Yes.
little bit, how did you start developing this interest?
Okay, so let's start first with the Miss Ecology pageant. So
Yeah.
the Miss Ecology pageant is actually from my school, which is an all-girls school.
Mhm.
And it was inspired from the Miss Philippines Earth, actually, because we actually have 5 R's in Miss Philippines Earth. This is the rethink, reduce, reuse, recycle, and respect.
Yeah.
But of course, in the Miss Ecology pageant, it just focused on the 3 R's, which is the reduce, reuse, recycle. And I think I have come to love the environment because I was a city girl most of my life,
Mhm.
but I really enjoyed it whenever I go out and travel, especially going on our province, which is Bicol or Camarines Sur.
Yeah.
And I just really, there's really a connection. It's different when you're like connected to the social media. So sometimes I tend to like disconnect from the social media and reconnect with the environment because it helps me mentally. Especially I think looking at green stuff and just looking at the animals around you. It's so refreshing. So yeah, I think I don't have this kind of deep connection really, but I'm just really happy to be surrounded by great nature,
Yeah.
especially by bodies of waters. But you know what? It's a fun fact because I'm really scared. I think it's thalassophobia, if they may call it. It's the scared of deep waters. But I like watching the waters or the oceans from afar, or like dipping my toes in, but not really swimming deep. But I'm really actually looking forward to trying scuba diving soon. So, let's try
No,
to conquer that fear. So
we
yeah.
actually share the same fear. People on my channel know
Yeah.
I cannot go. Like, I love the beach. I love like
Yes.
water bodies, but I cannot go in the water because I'm scared of sharks to
Yes.
an extent of like even going to a pool as a child, I will be traumatized. I didn't want to go to a pool because I thought there would be a shark in the water, which is not
Actually, I could
rational.
relate because it's really scary. And to know, like, they've said that we've only discovered like 5% of the ocean. And I go, what's the 95%?
I don't want to know
And
what's the other
I don't want to
95%.
know what that is. Anyway,
I
yeah.
can definitely relate to that. All right, so now let's talk a little bit about the competition, if you don't mind. So,
Yeah.
like we were discussing earlier, we have already witnessed some of the key moments of the pageant, such as the cultural attire competition,
Yeah.
prejudging
That was 2 days ago.
intelligence. Exactly.
Yeah.
We saw the long gown competition, beachwear, casual wear. I mean, lots of activities. Which one did you find the
Yes.
most challenging so far?
Okay, so we've actually had 9 activities
Uh-huh.
during, I mean, 9 recorded materials, and not to mention the live interviews. But
Mhm.
so far, I think the most extensive or the most challenging one would be, of course, the intelligence and the environmental awareness round.
Yeah.
Because it just a fact as well, or a fun fact, I wasn't able to sleep all night before that competition because I know that I could speak well or like I could communicate well, but I was just kind of scared of the time limit because we've got like 4 minutes, 1 minute like speak about ourselves and our advocacies or advocacy, and we've got like 3 minutes in total for the Q&A. And sometimes, of course, the judges would tend to like speak longer, and that would consume the time already. And
Yeah.
I was just really scared of the time, I think. But if I was, able to share a lot more, I think I'd be a lot more comfortable. But
Yeah.
since it was time constraint, I think that's the most challenging part. And I've been studying for like a lot of topics already, but I'm really happy that my environmental awareness or the intelligence round was actually just very light. It was about our city. The question given to me was about our city, and I'm just really happy to be able to share about our vaccination here in San Juan. And yeah,
Okay.
I think that's the most challenging part.
If I was on your shoes, I would be shaking because I was looking at the videos of the competitions and like these judges don't play. They really go with the questions, like scientific
Yes.
stuff, and I'm like,
Yes, and we've got like 4 judges in there, and they're like, respected in their fields, and that's really scary for, especially for a newbie like me.
If I ask you, what would you say are some of the pros and cons of a virtual pageant?
Okay, so for the pros, of course, I am really happy to say that we are able to like repeat the video, especially when we don't like the angle we have in there, because
Hmm.
especially in physical pageants, we've only got like how many videographers or photographers around you, and you don't know where to like really strike a pose, or where to like put your best angle into, because you don't know where's the main camera for that kind of pageant. I mean, the physical pageant. And then for the virtual pageant, it really gives you like the time to prepare and to like choose your best angle. And I think one of the pros would be, yeah, there you've got a lot of time to prepare for it before handing over the video or whatever requirement it is asked from you. But with the physical pageant, I think especially with, I think the Q&A is same because we have live interviews. Especially for the Q&As, they're very particular that they didn't want it to be, pre-recorded. They wanted it to be really live for the audience to like have a better view, or like they wouldn't say that it's really really different, because some Filipinos, we are a big pageant fan.
Yeah.
The Filipinos are big pageant fans, and I think that they can't accept virtual pageants just as much as physical pageant. They can't appreciate it that much. But I think the cons would be, for the virtual pageant, the cons would be spending a lot of money, and since the production would be different from each candidate. I mean, I am a one-man production because
Yeah.
I'm the one scheduling everything and meeting, my stylist. And of course, not all these people only have this job. Some of them just, have this for like as a side job.
Right.
And I think looking for the perfect time for everyone to meet, that's really already kind of challenging for us. And not to mention the weather here in the Philippines.
Mhm.
We have like, it's rainy already in here. And you know what? In my fitness, form, and poise segment, that was actually should have been shot on a swimming pool. I mean, a poolside. But then it rained so hard, I had to look for a studio to shoot for like, last minute, because it's going to be the deadline tomorrow, something like that. And so I think that would become one of the most challenging part as well, because you can't really control the weather, right?
Exactly.
So
No way to
yeah,
predict it.
yes.
So when it comes to financing the activities and all of that, does everything come out of pocket? Like, do you pay for it yourself, or is there like an allowance from the organization or something like that?
No, there's no allowance from the organization. I mean, I would love to have that, but it's really out of pocket. I mean, would you like me to mention how much already, or let's not go, or let's not dive into that?
Let's not dive into that.
Yeah, it's really costly, and it's more than $2,000. That's the best I could
Wow.
say.
Wow.
Yes, it's really a
Well,
lot.
I just hope that everyone watching this video right now, this interview, they really appreciate the work that not only you're putting
Yes.
in, but also the other candidates, because,
Especially what they see is like, 30-second or 45-second video of what we did. But, the preparation for that would really take a lot of days of scheduling, and, maybe a whole day of, taking a video of whatever it is needed to be recorded.
Exactly.
So yeah, I hope that people would like, appreciate what the girls have been doing and presenting to you guys, because I promise you that's the best we could do, especially sometimes budget constraint, or maybe, a lot of, struggles.
But it's also very costly during a pandemic, which is like an added layer
Yes.
of, difficulty. So props to you and props to the
Yes.
girl, really. Okay, so if you don't mind, let's talk now a little bit about your advocacy. So like you were mentioning earlier, you are an advocate for the pandemic in the ocean floor. Once again, when I make this type of interviews, I like to have an idea at least of what the advocacy is. So I was doing a little research about it. And some of the headlines that I was able to find for articles, it was all about, I'll read it because I have my notes next to me. It was all about mining in the ocean floors. There was dying biodiversity, climate change, plastic waste. What can you
Yes.
tell us about these problems in the Philippines, more precisely?
Okay, more precisely, actually, I was focusing on the medical waste or the COVID waste, because as you know, we have this single-use plastic, or like, especially the face shield, we still have this in the Philippines. I don't think if in Canada, do you still have it? You still
Not
have
as
the
much
face
now,
shields?
but we did have
Not
it at
as
some point,
much
not as
now.
much now, yeah.
Yes, but right now we still have it. And the single-use face masks, and the face shields, it's really adding up to the medical or the COVID waste that we have here in the Philippines. And it's kind of alarming, because we already have water pollution and a lot of plastic waste in here. And I think I would like to focus on, yes, in the medical waste that has been accumulating during the pandemic. I mean, the pandemic has really, gave the earth a chance to breathe, I think, in the first few months. But having these kind of personal protective equipment, especially the face shield, I'm not really a fan of that, because it wasn't really scientifically proven to, have an effect of protecting you. I mean, maybe a little, but not so much. It's just contributing to the plastic waste we have all around the world. And
Exactly.
especially here in the Philippines, and we've got like a lot of Philippine, I mean, the population here is a lot. So having just only one, I don't believe that a person only has one, because I've already had like three or 3 to 5 face shields already during the whole 2 years of pandemic. I
Mhm.
think that's really just a single person having these five already as a waste.
Yeah.
And imagine that being being thrown by how many millions of Filipinos. I mean, that's so alarming. And I think I would really love to advocate for that, and to have the facial completely taken down, or if not, be thrown properly into another bin. Especially, I am eagerly promoting my advocacy by targeting each household, because I wanted it to start in each household, because I believe if you start it in a household, it's going to have a positive domino effect.
Yeah.
You will teach it to your younger siblings or younger, family members, and then you could just practice it every day in your daily
Yeah.
routine. And so I would like the people to like not only segregate the biodegradable, recyclable, non-recyclable, but specifically segregate their medical waste as well. It will not only, save the marine species, but also help us not spread the coronavirus and other infectious diseases as well.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
really like the way that you presented it, like describing it as a pandemic in the ocean floors, because precisely we are in the middle of a pandemic already. We tend to
Mm-hmm.
focus on that, but we don't think of the side effects of the behaviors that we're doing right
Yes.
now. And the fact that they are still contributing to other issues that even long after COVID is over, these issues are still there, and they're still real.
Yes.
So I hope that people watching us maybe take this as an open invitation to kind of like reevaluate how they behave. Yeah, I definitely think that it's very, very important. And I never, if I'm being fully honest, I never thought about this problem with this perspective, like the medical waste as a
Yes.
side effect of the pandemic. But when you think about it, everyone in the world at some point was wearing like face shields and face masks. Like,
Face
where
masks.
does all of this go once we're done with it, right?
Yes, especially that our landfills here in the Philippines, or maybe in the whole world, there are like a lot of wastes already.
Yeah,
And sometimes they tend to like throw it out on the ocean.
yeah,
And I think I watched this documentary here in the Philippines, wherein a scuba diver has seen a lot of face masks underneath the waters, and it's just so alarming. I mean, it's so sad to hear that news. And another alarming issue that we have here in the Philippines. Are you familiar with Puerto Princesa, Palawan?
I've heard
Are
of
you
it.
familiar with that?
Yeah,
Yes, it's actually kind of famous because it's a tourist spot here in the Philippines,
yeah,
and it's very, beautiful in there. But then they caught this big fish, and then they cut it open to see its stomach, and then they've seen like a lot of plastic inside the fish. And they're selling it on the market, really, like in the wet market. And it's, if you really think about it, it's not only the marine species who are consuming this microplastics or this polypropylene, but also us. I don't know how much microplastic we've been consuming. Really, it's kind of scary if you think about it, right?
right.
Whenever you eat seafood and stuff like that, there's like a lot of microplastics in it already, and you're not really aware about it. And I think that's really, really alarming, especially how many years is it going to like continue like this?
Exactly.
Diba? So
It's a
yeah,
very
it's
good
really
point. And
scary.
once again, it's something that I feel like people don't ask themselves very often. Like they don't think that much about it. Like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
let me not throw like this plastic bottle because I want to be responsible. But they don't think of what happens with the plastic that is already out
Yes,
there and how it's coming back to us, because it's a cycle. We put it up there, but it
it
keeps
really
coming back.
is.
Yeah. So what would you say? I mean, let's say for someone who is just like new to these issues, or who doesn't know how to, let's say, like change the behaviors, how would you approach someone like that? And how would you try to educate them, bring some awareness to them?
Okay, so as the eldest daughter in our family, of course, I've got like four younger siblings, and when I talk to them, I always tell them that it always comes back to us. I don't want to scare them, but I just want them to realize its effect. Like what you've said, it's a cycle. So if you do this, it will always have an effect Or even just, just give the example of the good and the bad karma. It's just really like that. If you just take care of the environment, it would also take care of you. But if you don't take care of it, it won't take care of you too. So that's just as simple as that. And if you like, tell that to people and just make them realize that, not really have you don't really have to push it to them that you should take care of the environment because we are like stewards of God and something like that. You don't have to mention that. You just have to make them realize of the effects, especially with the microplastics. I think it's going to alarm them already, because if you just ask them, do you think you've already consumed microplastics, or did you know that you're already consuming it for a long time now? And I think maybe this is one of the causes of cancers or whatever. Just, you don't have to scare them. You just have to make them realize of the effects of what we do on a daily basis.
Exactly.
So, I think you don't have to really push people or force them to like understand. You just have to like make them realize, really.
Exactly. And I feel like, honestly, this is maybe like the hardest part of the process, because when you don't know these things, when you're not familiar with the issues, it's very hard to kind of deconstruct what you already know and change your behaviors.
Yes.
But I feel like it's important to continue doing it, because in the long run, when you think about it, even like authorities and the government should get involved and try to, bring awareness to this, because this is hurting different industries in the country as well. This is hurting tourism. This is going to hurt agriculture. This is going to hurt fishing. There's a lot of side impacts that is not just the behavior of like throwing away like your face shield or your mask. It's like the global impact of like everyone doing it at the same time, all the time.
Yes, all the time. That's really, can you just imagine how much plastic we're like throwing away every day, like in the whole earth? It's just so scary to think. But you know what? I think the root cause or the real problem behind this is the source of plastic. I mean, the ones who are doing or like creating plastic in the first place. I mean, as long as we have factories who are creating plastics every day, or like, that's their source of income. Capitalism, really. I think it's just so annoying to think that we're like trying hard to like manage all our plastic waste, but then it doesn't stop because you have to manage everything that comes from the supplier.
Exactly. Something that I find really interesting about the Miss Philippines Earth pageant is that everyone has obviously like different advocacies, but they are all linked together. Like the things that you're mentioning right now, it kind of reminds me of previous interviews that I've had. And I tell myself like, this is impressive because, in any pageant, I don't know, like people have like different advocacies that kind of like can be like very different from one another. But in this one, they all have like a very specific cause that it doesn't matter like their perspective. Like I was telling you, I never thought about plastic waste from the perspective of the medical waste, but then you bring this up and then it's like, whoa. And then I spoke with the other one and I was like, whoa. And then it's like, I honestly think that you guys are doing like an amazing job besides, obviously the pageant and doing all of that. So props to you.
Yeah. It's actually the pageant or the crown is just really an additional. Being able to like share advocacies is already, I think we already win that part already, because like you're like, I could just compliment you for having like a lot of subscribers, and I think like having a more wider, like if I could only reach a wider demographic to reach, I mean to like give my message to or relay my advocacy to, and being able to like make people realize about it or become maybe a little inspired about it, it really makes a lot of impact already, I believe.
Exactly. And it almost feels to me that the pageant, it's kind of like an excuse to bring like less people, because I mean the Filipinos love pageants, so they hear like pageant, okay, let's go watch, and then you present like all of this information
and in a way that they are really entertained and didn't have the information overload, as they say.
Exactly. Very nice. So precisely, we have talked so far. So we talked about your journey so far in the competition, your advocacy. So if you get one of the titles, how do you plan to use your platform to bring awareness to these problems and, you know, just put the message out there?
Okay, so actually, I would, if I win a crown, or even if I don't win a crown, I think I would love to propose this medical waste management policy. I would like start it first here in our city because we have this no segregation, no collection policy already existing in here, and so I would like to propose another policy with our Senro, or our City Environment and Natural Resources Office, and to like not only having this policy, this medical waste management policy, reinforced in hospitals or healthcare facilities, but mainly again in our households.
Mhm.
Because I really believe that if we start this in our households, it will really, build a character or like a routine, and then you would like bring it every day in your life. And so I think the disposal of these PPEs, or these personal protective equipment, should really be taken seriously too. Like the used face masks must also be cut in half for it to be not reused anymore or whatever. And I think that before handing it over to our helpful garbage collectors, we should also disinfect these medical waste by their recommended bleach solution. So if you guys are not familiar with the recommended bleach solution, it's actually like 1 liter of water, and you're just gonna put like 1 tablespoon of bleach. Then you just have to like soak your medical waste or your COVID waste, and then it will, lessen the spread of the coronavirus already. And you're not only helping the environment, but you're also helping the people around you and
Exactly.
protecting your helpful garbage collectors as well. And I think, being concerned with everything and everyone around you, that would really make a lot of difference already. So,
Exactly.
yes.
And once again, it's going back to the small things that you can do individually, because if everyone does it, then it has like a huge impact. It makes a big, big difference. So
And
everyone,
you know what? I would just like to say to, especially to everyone, that, with or without winning a crown, I believe that our invisible crowns are not only worn on top of our heads, but are already embedded within our hearts. So,
oh,
yeah.
I love that. I love that. You know what? You're actually like ahead of me, because that was my last question for you. So if
Yes.
in the scenario, I mean, like, please don't, but like if in the scenario that you don't get a title, that you don't get a crown, how do you
Yes.
plan to continue this cause? Because it's so important. Like you say, it's not a matter of having a crown or not. It's a matter of
Yes.
protecting the environment.
Yes, and sharing our advocacies. I mean, we've got 66, remaining contestants, and having 66 advocacies. That's really a lot, and I think that's really helpful already. And so again, with or without winning a crown, I'm just really going to stay true to my causes and advocacies all throughout my life. So the crown would just be, a cherry on top.
Absolutely. That's really commendable. Really respect to you. Props to you as well.
Thank you. Thank
Amazing.
you, Luis, for
I hope
inviting
that
me.
the people are looking to you as a role model. Come on, guys. I mean, we need
Mhm.
more people like Ellyssa. Come on.
Thank you. I'm just really, really grateful to be part of this competition, this national pageant. And I mean, I have actually said this into a previous interview before, but I really think that the little girl I used to be is already very, very proud of me. If
Wow.
only I could talk to the younger version of me, I think she would be really, she would be, I mean, the little girl, the little version of me would like really look up to me and like say, I wanted to be like you.
I'm gonna tell you as a side comment, uh, you are very, very beautiful, but your
Thank
communication
you.
skills are really impressive.
Thank you.
Keep that in mind, okay? And if you ever
I
decide to go for
actually,
other
yes.
pageants, go
Yeah.
big, because you can do this.
Thank you so much, Louise. That's really, kind of motivating me because sometimes, in this competition, I had already a lot of nervous breakdowns. I'm going to be honest with you guys because it's not really as easy as you see it or like as you watch it.
Mhm.
It's really deeper or like harder than that. But I believe that this is really honing us to becoming more, a better woman, or
Yeah.
honing us to become a better person for the society. And
Yeah,
it's just not, really about yourself, but also contributing into or thinking of what you can contribute to your country.
exactly.
So, yeah.
Just take this as a learning experience, and I promise you, it's gonna take you places.
Thank you so much for appreciating my efforts because it really feels good to like know it from another person. Not just of course your family would always be there to support you, but hearing it from another person who isn't really your family or your friend yet. Well, I think we're going to be friends after this one.
Where's
But
besties?
yes, besties. But I think listening or like hearing it from another person who you just met just now, it's really flattering and heartwarming. So thank you so much for your kind words, Luis.
My
It
pleasure.
really goes a long way.
My pleasure. And now, my dear Ellyssa, before I let you go, I'm gonna ask you to
Mm-hmm.
address the audience. Think as if you had like all my viewers in front of you right now. What is your message for them? How do you want them to remember you? And most importantly, how can we support you on your journey during this pageant?
Okay, so I would just like to say to all the audiences we have here, to all our viewers, that thank you so much for supporting me. Or like, if you would like support me, you could download the Ecosystem app and then look for my name in the power group. It's Ellyssa May Cedilla, San Juan City. And I would just like to relay this message to you guys that it's actually a quote from Mahatma Gandhi that if you want to see a change in this world, you have to be the change you wish to see in the world. And I think, or in the earth rather. And
Ah,
so I'm just really imitating Pia words back in the I wanted to show the world, the universe rather, but not the world, the earth rather. Anyway, going back to the serious message. I just really wanted, everyone to become more aware of their surroundings, their environment, because our apathy and indifference has brought our Mother Earth into a brink of destruction. And I want to let everyone know that there are still some ways we could do about it. We could always treat each day as Earth Day. And if the small steps that we have, our micro efforts will definitely have a macro effect in our environment. That's a quotation from our Miss Karen Ebasco, our very own Miss Earth 2017. And I actually like look up to her, and yeah, I just wanted to like repeat her message to you guys. So I hope that you guys support me all throughout this journey, even though I'm a newbie. I hope that you guys would support my causes, and especially my pandemic in the ocean floor advocacy. And I hope that it has really reached, deepest in your heart right now, to like, take care of your environment and your surroundings. That's just about it. I won't really force anything to you guys. I just want you to become, realize or realize stuff around you, because it would really affect you in the long run. And I'm not scaring you. I'm just I'm not scaring everyone. I'm just really here to advocate for my cause. And I want you to learn from it even just a little bit. Yeah.
exactly.
Thank you so much, Luis. And thank you so much to all the viewers and supporters of Luis. May you support him all the way, because he's such a nice person.
Thank you. You're so
Thank
nice.
you.
Honestly, no, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You have earned my respect, my love, and my friendship. And I
Mhm.
cannot wait to see what's ahead of you, whether it's with this
Yes.
pageant, whether it's with another one, whether it's with other projects. I know that you'll go places, honestly. So
Yes.
thank you for sharing your time with us and for being here today. And for everyone watching us, I
Yes.
appreciate your presence. Don't forget to I will leave Elyssa's information in the description. So if you want to go vote, if
Yes.
you want to go follow her on social media, all of those important things, she has put a lot of effort and work and money on this. So
Yes.
please go
And
and support.
actually, could I just add, Louise?
Yeah.
So, as much as I'm an environmental advocate, I have also been a scoliosis advocate for more than 10 years now. So, ever since I was 13 years old, I was already, speaking to a lot of people with scoliosis, even internationally. And
Yeah.
if you guys, if there are some of your viewers has scoliosis or like persons with disabilities, you could actually hit me up and just message me or like ask me anything that you want, especially with regards to your confidence or self-esteem, because I really wanted to, share positivity. And I would like to tell the people, especially the people with disabilities, that we should not let our disabilities hinder us from achieving anything we want in this life, especially in chasing our dreams.
Perfect.
So
Well, there you
yes,
have it,
that's just
everyone. You
about it.
already know what to do. This deserves a standing ovation, honestly.
Thank you.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And I will see you very, very soon with another episode of Extraordinary Talks. Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you, everyone. Goodbye.